I guess how are you feeling about that map? Because I know afterwards, I mean, obviously you didn't win it. It was 16-9 the other way. But what was your feel? What was your read? Since that was your first like real, I would say, official test on the map.
I thought it was great. We had played some Ancients going into Frag, and we had played really well on the map. Like we were very surprised at like how naturally we were able to play the map, and there was still like stuff to fix, obviously, but like it had a high level from the start, and we didn't think that there was like. We thought it was a good bait pick, right? Like we thought that when they picked it, we were like, "This is sick!" Like that we just baited them into picking a map that is like very strong for us, and we would have like had it as the last map if they hadn't picked it, right? And so we felt really good. We felt really confident in the series, and then again, we just like when we've talked about it in the team, we did things during that game that we just didn't do during scrims. We did things where we tried to be heroes. We did things where we just constantly messed up, and so. They punished us and they deserve credit for it, but there was a lot of things that we felt like we could fix on our end, and that if we played it again, we wouldn't run into those problems again. So
Ancient staying in the
happy
pool for you?
Yeah, happy with Ancient.
Okay.
Want to keep playing it. Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised when we lost it at the LAN.
I would bet you're going to get an opportunity to play it this coming week, possibly multiple times. There's a few teams in there that really like to pick Ancient if you'll give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that. We'll get to DreamHack in a second here. Yeah, okay. I'm glad to hear that, because it does feel like a map that would very much naturally lend itself to a lot of the things that you guys do well. In that it's a map where like aggression is so valuable, right? Zoning out mid with an op, aggressive like with Junior would be fantastic. Making that aggressive Jaguar push in towards Snake to zone out B main, like having that aggressive deep lurk in towards aim. Like there's a lot you can do with CT aggression on that map, and that feels like maps where that works well seem to be your bread and butter. So I think it does make a lot of sense that maybe not that time, but ancient to me feels like a natural fit for you guys. And I really like casting Ancient, so please keep picking Ancient, or at least allowing it through vetoes. I really like watching Ancient right now. It's so interesting. It's so fresh and new. And I like seeing things happen on that map as opposed to... Because the other thing is, like, you really can't play a boring Ancient. You can't just, like, sit and then exec 30 seconds left on the clock, right? You're screwed if you do that. Like, you just can't do that as a T-side, so... I don't know. I feel like it's a fun map to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the map's still new, so people are still, creating new things. They're still adjusting how they approach certain areas of the map, and so I don't think there's, it's like Mirage. You see the right side smokes get thrown with the CT smoke. You see that get thrown, like, all the time. You've seen the exec for 7 years now, right? So it's just like, even if you're throwing a very similar exec on Ancient, it's still, like, it's only been 6 months, right? Like, there's still new things that you can learn. There's still new ways that teams are going to defend against it. There's still... a different pop flash somebody might find. There's still, just, I don't know, just a variety of things. So I'm with you. They haven't updated Ancient as much as they did like Vertigo, but I think that Ancient is a lot more of a complete map than when Vertigo first came out. So I think there might be like a few Ancient changes, a few like tweaks to certain cubbies and things like that. But I mean, we'll just have to see. And obviously, if they do anything like that, then that affects how you approach certain bomb side. It affects the timings. Who knows.
Do you think A needs rework?
It's definitely really... Yeah, I think it needs to be reworked a little bit with where you can plant the bomb, because it's very easy to spam as CTs right now, and it's also really hard to slow the round down and play like a methodical round if you're a T if you don't have utility left.
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of get away with something like that. Like Mirage A is kind of like the other site where it's like, if you slow down and you don't immediately plant the bomb, like, it's a little tough, but you can still, like, isolate the angles. You plant default, have your opera hold CT, and that's still, like, relatively safe. It's like, if you want to plant on A at Ancient, like, there can be a guy Donut, and that guy's, like, impossible to kill. Like, there could be a guy CT, there could be a guy sneaking up the temple. Like, you have to watch so many different angles, and it's so, like, if you go out A, you're pretty much committed to forcing a plan or to having extra utility. Like, if people die, it makes the round significantly harder than if they die on like any other bomb site. So I think that A could use a little bit of a rework for sure.
I agree with that. It's one of those maps where it's like, if you have 3 smokes, great, plant while the smokes are still up. If you don't have 3 smokes, fucking zone one of those angles. Like take Catacombs or take Donut, and if you don't have one of those, good luck. Godspeed.